Okay, hello everybody. I'm back with another video. Sorry it's been a while. Now what we're doing today is we're insulating our beehive. We had a really good colony going and we had a 90-mile-an-hour gust come up from the south, which is kind of unusual from that direction. And it took the beehive over. We had it strapped with ratcheting strap east and west onto our stand. The stand is anchored down into the ground with wires and stakes and everything. It moved it about 3 inches, took the hive over. We think it killed the queen. And we've had a hard time keeping insulation on the hive. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to go ahead and I framed this out. I had some 2x4s I had ripped down for some other pieces. And they're about 1.5 inches, almost by 1.5 inches. And I'm using 1.5 inches hard foam, that pink foam, on it. So I framed on the actual beehive. I've cut it down to an 8 frame, and we've screwed this outer framing from the inside into those 1x or 2x that are outside here. So it'll be about 2.5 inches here, and then we've got 3/4 of an inch on the inside, so it's going to be a fairly thick wall, kind of like a tree trunk. But I've gone ahead and I've put these pieces on the corners, and they're just held in like with one screw here, one on the other end. These are held together with about 4 on the inside and 3 on the bottom. Well, this piece here. And then, like I said, I screw in these little caps here on the ends that way. Then I cut the insulation to size and I pushed it in. My next step is covering this with plywood, light plywood. We want it as light as we can get it. And then what I had trouble with too, and we just found this out earlier, I actually had to take my router with a bearing and I had to clamp a couple pieces of wood on top, and we had to widen this out a little bit because of our humidity. We don't have a lot of humidity here, and apparently it swelled the wood just enough where we couldn't get these together. So I got that done, and now get this together really good. And we're going to add, on the east side of the hive, I'm going to put 2 vent holes here with plastic tubing that we can put a cork in the wintertime to keep them nice and warm inside. So until I'm going to go ahead next and I'm going to cut the pieces of plywood out. I'll anchor them to here with the screws, and you'll be able to see that. Then I actually have to design and build the base, because this is a totally different animal. I don't know, we've never built one this thick before, so I'm going to build a new base for it and we'll see how that comes out. Alright, we're finishing this up. I've got the insulation, the 1x and the insulation around all these, and the plywood. And last screw, that's done. Okay, we got that piece finished up. The hive is more or less finished other than paint. I've got eyelets up on top here. We're going to put ratcheting straps here. They're going to go down to our stand that we have out in the pasture. And this is all insulated. It's heavy, but I don't think it'll blow off. That's 3/4 inch ply, and I've got 1.5 inch pink insulation inside with the bottom board. It's 2x4 construction. And then the top brood section, we went with PVC pipe on the inside of this instead of wood. And all. There's screens on the inside. Get that up off of there. I still have to add the handles to these, but I actually have screening on the inside, keep the hornets and wasps and stuff out of the hive. And that's the top brood section. You see how it came out. It fits in there pretty good. This is the bottom section. I added this so I actually have a doorway. I can slide it.
You're in it. You leaned over too much.
Well, like I said, I made this stand here for the feeder in all. And this should go. Just gotta go all the way over. So we'll have to keep the feeder in it at all times. That's the door, entrance door. This comes off, the door will fall. And this is the base. And the base is just as heavy. I messed up in here, so I actually had to add an extra piece inside there. But it's got the screening for the mites. And on the bottom I made this section here. This is boxed in 1.5 inch foam, pink foam. Slides in, I've got a handle on it. And then I used what I could on off of my old hives. So some of these pieces are white, some aren't. What I'm looking at doing too is I'm looking at putting a set of these on. I'm going to have to get longer shafts here. But that should push this right up against the inside of this thing to seal it for winter time. And I think that's pretty much got it. Like I said, I used what I could. These sections here are cut down off of my old hives. This piece here was never used, actually. I had it in the building, and I think it was the wrong size, so I cut it down. It'll work good here. I'll pull this out. You can see the screening, so the mites should be able to fall right down. And I actually used a piece of paneling I had inside the shop left over. So, should be able to see the mites really good. And I cut it out. I actually cut this out, drilled holes, jigsawed it, and then I used my router to try to dress it up best I could. It's kind of rough, rougher work than I usually do, but I was kind of in a hurry. We've got bees coming this coming weekend, this next weekend, so hopefully, if you guys have any questions or comments, please be kind. Like I said, this is the first one I've ever insulated. We're trying this. We've had bad luck with our bees up here because of the weather and the harsh conditions. We've planted flowers around the stand, so hopefully that will help too. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. That's always nice. So we'll see you guys later.